Recently, I have been really for myself seeing some shifts, understanding some changes in the ways that I used to think love was supposed to show up for me, the way that I was loving myself, and the way that I was trying to prove my love to other people in ways that was maybe doing more harm to me and taking me further away from the kind of love that I actually wanted to experience. And today I want to talk about authenticity and how authenticity can truly be the path to true love. How, by being authentic and letting go of certain masks and certain behaviors, I have really learned to find a new kind of love, a new sensation of love, a new layer that before I did not understand. And I'm saying a new kind of love because I feel like love is not one dimensional. There's many different types of love. For example, there's friendship love, there's platonic love, parental love, there's love between siblings, brother love, there's agape love, God's love. I cannot imagine what it must feel like to have love for your own child. There's self-love. There's so many different types of love, and the more that we are able to define different types of love, the easier it becomes to navigate and to understand what kind of love we expect from different people, from different relationships in our lives. I feel like it's very important for ourselves to discern the different kinds of boundaries and expectations we can have from certain relationships, because I feel like this clarity allows us to have better relationships, healthier relationships, and also gives us like this map to know what place we have to give people in our lives, because I feel like clarity and boundaries are really the map and are really like the foundation to good relationships. But in order to have a good relationship with someone else, we must first internally understand what we need in order to find common ground with the people that we are attracting. So that's what we're going to talk about in this video. If you're new here, hi, my name is Lynn. I love to talk about spirituality, all things life, intentional living, and this video is about love, a topic that I love talking about, that I love investigating, that I love discovering, and this is all from my own personal experience. This is something that I am subconsciously and sometimes more consciously constantly observing in my own life, that I'm really doing the inner work, journaling a lot about, to better understand my own perceptions, my own feelings, and to get knowledge from whatever it is I live in my own relationships. So if you're down for that, feel free to stick around. Feel free to like this video and subscribe to my channel if you like topics like these. There's much more where this came from, and there's much more to come. So I would really love for you to join. Feel free to also share your thoughts and your experiences, because I would really like to hear how you guys feel about this topic. If you agree with certain things, if you disagree, this is an open space, and I'd love to hear different points of view. So let's get into the video. There's a lot of people that talk about self-love when it comes to love, or that finding the right relationship starts with true love. And I've already discussed this also in podcast episodes and in previous videos, that I do believe that true love starts with self-love. But I want to dive a little bit deeper in how I see that today in comparison to authenticity. I feel like a lot of the times in this life, and I feel like what I observe in my own life and also in the people around me, in the people that I'm able to see on a close every single day basis, I notice that some people, and in the society in general, a lot of people present themselves differently to external relationships, to people that are a bit more far away, which is a very natural thing. We have different layers of identity depending on the relationships, depending on the people that we hang around with. And we're also completely different people when we are with ourselves. But there's this discrepancy between people that are kind of themselves no matter where they are, no matter who they with, and people that completely shift behind closed doors and in the open world. As I'm thinking about it, I feel like we really shy away from being ourselves. We're afraid to show the people who we really are. We really feel the need and the pressure to Well, if you don't feel this way, great for you. But I feel like in a lot of the times this just happens. It's just how we are like programmed. It's the way that society raises us. It's the way that we are punished sometimes in behaving certain way. Life teaches us that if we behave in certain ways, if we show certain emotions, if we talk a certain manner, if we express certain parts of ourselves, that we are going to be less lovable, that we are going to be less accepted, and that people are not going to love certain parts of ourselves, especially when we look at religion. I feel like a lot of dogmas, a lot of IDs, a lot of religions, they really place a heavy emphasis on this dualistic thinking, and there's always a good way to be and a bad way to be. There's always a god and a devil. There's always a heaven and a hell, and there's no in between. There's no gray zone. You're either good or you're either bad. And I feel like even these ways of thinking and these ways of receiving information and being fear mongered into believing that if you sin or if you're imperfect or if you have certain behaviors, if you behave certain ways, that you're going to go to hell, that you're not deserving of God's love. I'm really speaking from a religious background because I feel like those are the ways that it has been really indoctrinized, in ways that sometimes it's only as we get older that we truly realize, like, whoa, this goes so deep. This really is rooted in so much belief of self-hatred and believing that we're not worthy of God's love and that we're never going to be good enough. And I can even bring that further into the shadow self and the light. And a lot of the times we want to push the shadow away. We want to only step into the light. We only want to be this good version of ourselves because we are taught, you know, how me and my English, whatever, we are taught to, we are thought to hide away our shadow selves, hide away our imperfections. And this is not only society, sometimes it's also through experiences when we have, for example, showed certain parts of ourselves and maybe we have been punished for behaving in certain ways, or we have been excluded, or we just have been made feel bad about certain parts of our authentic expression. And I feel like as we grow as children, as we grow into, you know, early adolescence, we really are taught to act more polished, be more nice, be more stoic than we actually are, which is not necessarily a bad thing. I think that it's really still very respectable to be able to behave in those certain ways, especially in just a society. We need to, you know, self composure, and to be able to control yourself is very important. But in our own personal relationships, I feel like there should be more freedom to really be ourselves fully. I'm not talking about distant relationships or professional relationships. I think there should really be, I think we should really still distinguish the places and the people with whom we should be able to always be ourselves. I'm really talking close relationships, people that you want to live your life with, people that you really trust, that you love deeply, you know, that you care about. So when it comes to that, also our parents sometimes might also put their own internalized mistakes or imperfections or things that they regret about themselves. They might, you know, sometimes I notice that when parents haven't forgiven themselves yet, they also have such a hard time accepting the flaws that they recognize from themselves in their children. And they're also teaching their children that it's not okay to have certain mannerisms, behaviors, feelings, personality traits, characteristics. And especially when this comes from your parents, it can be very harmful, because I feel like as children, it's first and foremost the love and acceptance of our parents that we crave. So if from an early age you feel like certain things are not accepted through your parents, it makes it so much more difficult throughout your adulthood and lifetime to accept those parts of yourselves and say to yourself that even though you have this, you're still worthy of love and you're still good enough, and you know, you still really matter. And I go through this in cycles in my own personal lives where sometimes I can get aware of it, and then you check it, you notice it, you're like, oh, this is not a direction that I want to go in, where I'm starting to mask my own feelings, starting to behave in ways where I'm not really fully being myself out of fear of not being loved, where I'm getting a little bit insecure. So I start to shift my behavior or change my ways or push myself into thinking a different way just to conform to the idea that I think someone else needs me to be, because it's normal to fall into loops of insecurity. It's normal to sometimes neglect yourself. This is not something you do once, and once you realize and notice it, you will never go through that again, or that you will never forget to love yourself a little bit harder. I feel like that is just a natural part of life where we go with these ups and downs. And I sometimes notice again for myself, like, oh wow, okay, in these past weeks, I have been neglecting my own needs. I have been pushing away my own desires, my own true emotions, and I have been like suppressing what I truly feel or need in order to feel like I'm good enough or worthy to receive love from another person. What I realize is, if you are looking for true love, and like the love that I've been truly seeking for in my own personal life, it's like this deep, unconditional love that can see you in your darkest days, but also in your good days, that doesn't necessarily, we always have to condone bad behavior. We always have to stay just. I believe in justice. I believe in standing your ground. I believe in morality still, but it's not realistic as a human being. We are imperfect. We gonna have bad days. We are flawed, and we are all gonna make mistakes. We're all gonna have days where we do certain things that we're not proud of, where we take certain actions that we might regret, that we hurt people that we love, that we're a bit more rude than we intended to be, that maybe sometimes our ego and pride is taking up a bit too much space than intended. But I feel like if you truly are able to love yourself, and also if you are a person that truly, understands that about themselves and learns to forgive themselves and can also forgive others, it's way more easier to be able to capture that moment, to be honest with yourself, to let go, and to like check yourself. And being honest with yourself is so important, and being able to check yourself, because you also make it easier for other people to, be real with you. And not everyone is like this. This is just how I am. So for me, it's like so normal. But some people are just okay with bad behavior, and they're surrounded by people that enable them. I don't believe in enabling. If you do something wrong, I will tell you. I don't like that. If I do something wrong, and I've always been blessed with a lot of people around me that have always told me when I'm doing things wrong. My friends have always told me the harsh truths, and that's the kind of friendships that I appreciate. And that is also something that I had to learn to understand, that that is actually real love, because it's just like the dynamic between parents and children. There's this way of loving that it's not always going to be the way you want. We're not always going to say what you want to hear, because real love wants the best for you, even if you don't see how that is the best for you, or even if that goes against your desires, your feelings in the moment. And sometimes we need to be patient with people. We need to also give them the space to recognize that for themselves, to take a distance, to let people take their own choices, to make their own mistakes. Being patient with people, allowing them to take a step back from you while they are making their own path, paving their own way, is also a form of love that is in practice not as easy as a lot of people realize. But that's also the kind of love that, I have realize for myself, like that's the kind of love that I want to experience, giving people the space, the freedom to express themselves, to make mistakes, because in that way you are fully loving people through their shadow, standing by their side no matter what happens, because rest assured, we're going to make mistakes. We're going to do things, we're going to see things in the people that we love that we don't like, but it is going to be very precious, and it doesn't happen a lot to have people that will stay by your side and stick with you even through your dark days, even when you are the ugliest version of yourself. And I've said this to someone recently. It's that I have a few friends that I can count on maybe 2 or 3 fingers that I know, like, you guys are really my friends. And it took me over 10 years to know that. But the only reason and the only moment in time that I can know that someone is truly my friend is when they have seen me in a period where I was doing fucked up shit, where I lost a mark and I went all the way off the rails. Maybe they didn't speak to me for a while because they completely didn't agree with my behavior, but I was able to come back from that, and they were still there when I needed them. They never completely disregarded me. They always loved me, even though it was from a distance, even though they were saying like, girl, you lost. Like, I thought I lost you for a second. Like, I did not like who you were at that time, but they are still here with me today, and they have seen me through the darkest days of my life, and they are still my friends today. And that's when I know, like, wow, those are my ride or dies. And no matter what happens, it's that loyalty that we need also when people are not watching. It's that love. It's wishing people the best, wishing people good, even when they are not showing up in our lives the ways that we want them to. I think that freedom is such an important marker of how much we love people. Being able to love people without feeling the need to put them in a certain box or having certain expectations for how they should behave, how they should talk, how they should be, how they should express themselves, how they should show their love to you. But really recognizing people as independent and as just as human beings that also have their own traumas, their own experiences, their own personal relationships, their own ecosystems and their family dynamics which shape the way they are. And it's very rare to find people that are able to love you, to see you, and to really love you so much that they give you just the freedom to be fully free. And it's not like an anxiously attached, but a very detached, but deeply loving, unconditionally loving love. And in that kind of space, it feels so good because I feel like those are the people that you just feel safe to be, and you are not worrying like, am I saying the wrong thing? You're not worrying like, I have to over explain myself when I'm having a bad day. I can curse whatever I want. We can have conversations about everything because you know that you know each other's heart. So even when you're acting a little dodgy or shady, you know that it's not something personal. You don't have to take everything personal that people are doing, and you are not always trying to paint a picture of their character. It's the people that you resonate so deeply with that you just know and trust that they have a good character, but that doesn't mean that it's always going to manifest in the ways that other people or society tells us that good character should present itself. Does it kind of make sense? And to tie this back to the idea of loving yourself first and also rebelling and finding authenticity, I just really found for myself that there's going to be no bigger act of love than the act of self-love, because this all really aligns, is daring to fully be yourself, even the parts that other people say are ugly or you shouldn't show or you should hide or that are not worthy of love. It's when you choose to love those parts of yourself and to honor them, to give yourself the freedom to express certain emotions, to have certain opinions, to wear whatever you want to wear, to, I don't know, to follow the dreams that you in your soul feel like you need for yourself. It is putting yourself and the love for yourself above the expectations that other people have of who you should be, above the expectations about how you should, conform to the idea that they have of you. And in this process of choosing the self and in this process of the act of self-love, you automatically make room for people to either accept you as you are, and those a lot of the times are the people that are meant for you, the ones that stick around even when you do what maybe you were not supposed to do, and the ones that fall off are just the ones that were conditionally loving you, only loving you for the idea they had of you, only loving you if you fit in the certain box that they already placed you in, if you're only this, one-dimensional shell of yourself. And I was spending the day with my best friend today. Shout out to Luana. I love her so much. There's no words to express how much I love this woman, and she knows it. And just today we were being such assholes to each other, and if you ever see us together, we're like on a whole different planet. Like, we act like fucking clowns, and we laugh our fucking asses off. Like we're walking on the street and we will just crack up laughing and almost like lay on the floor, and everyone would be looking at us like, what the fuck are these childish bitches doing? But we just don't give a fuck. Like that's how cracked up we are in our own little world. Just thinking about it made me realize I don't have to overthink. I can be a bitch, I can be an asshole sometimes, I can curse, we can have the most cancelable conversations ever about anything and everything, and I never have to worry about the way that she will perceive me. That it just never even crosses my mind. I never overthink like, will she judge me? Am I a bad person? Like, of course we judge each other. We judge each other openly right in front of each other, and we express the judgment freely, but there's like no eggshells. You don't have to overthink or worry, or I don't know. It's just such a deeply rooted love that there's no question, there's no doubt. And that is just such a beautiful relationship. And it also makes me realize how draining and how tiring it is to have the relationships in which you constantly have to wonder, like, what is the deal? Like, do they really like me? Or did I make a wrong move? Or are they still my friend? Or am I showing up well enough? Like, a lot of the times, and those are phases that are also normal in new friendships. Like Luana has been my friend for 21 years, 22 years, something like that. So, we've built that trust over a long period of time, but best believe that, at the beginning stage, or there were times in our lives where we did not really, we were more like, I don't fucking like this person, but life just brought us back because the love was just so deep. But there are phases also in friendship where the love is not yet established to that point, or you're still trying to figure out where it is. But I'm just very patient with friendships and relationships, and I just think the right ones will fall into place, align at the right time. And if it doesn't, if you never come back together, if your paths never cross, maybe it just wasn't meant to be. But forcing is also something that I really wouldn't suggest, because that also takes away that freedom that we need to truly get to know a person, to give a person the freedom to show up as they want to be, as they are, at the right time, and that we can love them as the occasion arises, and not when we feel like we're in control of the situation or hyper focusing on manipulating the situation in a certain direction. So yeah, that's why I believe that authenticity is truly the path to true love. In many ways, of course, there are many different types of love. There are many different expressions of love, and you also figure that out for yourself. This is just my experience. This is just something that I've noticed recently, and I really wanted to share it. So yeah, that came out very fluently, very randomly. I'm very grateful if you got to the end of this video. Shout out to you. Please feel free to like and subscribe to my channel. If you like this topic, let me know what you thought about it. Let me know what you feel about this. And if you feel like in most of your relationship, you have to hide who you truly are, I really want to align more with people where I am free to be me. Because the more that I allow myself to be free, and the more that I align myself to that timeline and that reality where I am attracting people, where I'm able to be free, the more that it also opens the door of where I'm going to live the life for myself, where I'm going to be free to be me and express myself freely. And as someone that really values artistic expression, that is so important to have people around you that love you for who you truly are, because the best artistic expression is just free, and it's not always going to be for everyone. And you don't want to be put in a box, and being able to discover all new layers of yourself. And it's really nice to have a support system that will be there with you no matter what turn you take, and no matter in which way you're going to express yourself on different days, because they know your core, they know your soul, they know who you are, they know what your intention is, they know your heart. And yeah, that just what it that I'm just gonna leave it at that, because anyways, it's getting late. I should probably go to bed. And I hope you're doing good. take good care of yourself. I really hope you enjoyed this video, and I will see you in the next one. Bye, guys.